Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna talk with Arne Mannott, an important Austrian artist from the contemporary circus environment in Austria and Europe, and you will know why. Arne is an artist and curator with a background in circus, dance, and fine art, as well as an academic degree in philosophy and politics. His performances and exhibitions have been shown internationally in the different countries of Europe. He is also jury and curator of festivals and call selections, so he knows very well the experimental circus in Austria and in Europe. He's also founder and artistic director of the Viennese Festival on the Age, Festival of Experimental Circus. So, officially starting this interview, thank you so much, Arne, to open this space in your full and busy schedule to receive this interview and this call.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, gerne. So, starting from the standard question of this interview, that is, what is contemporary circus for you?
That's a hard one.
Mhm.
Let's put it like this. Right now, it's for me rethinking the old circus techniques. I'm really searching right now what is the essence of these old techniques, like juggling, acrobatics, tightrope walking, etc., etc. And what can we do with all these nice techniques, which are very common? And what is the way how to use them and how to express something else instead of only showing the technique, only the technical part? And besides that, I'm very curious about rethinking also this old circus dramaturgy. So this is contemporary circus for me right now. Yeah.
Nice. Look into your work, as a researcher and artist. I can see layers on this contemporary circus, and I was thinking how you see the idea of, for example, contemporary circus and experimental circus. There are some difference between these two fields for you?
Depends. Sometimes it's the same for me. Sometimes there are two like strings, let's say. In general, for me, contemporary circus is like everything that is happening right now in the world, or the artists who are researching circus. And experimental circus for me is like, let's say, a little bit more, and it's like finding ways of researching circus which are not that certain, which are not like where we don't know if there is a success in this research. So I'm very curious about supporting and also doing researches in this experimental field where I don't know where we go. And this is also for sure connected with combining these old techniques with, for example, fine arts, performance art, and dance. And it's, for me, it's really nice as an artist to dive into these processes, but also as a curator to follow these artists and to support these creation processes, because I think this field, or in this string of experimental circus, we can find something which we haven't seen yet in the circus world.
Nice, nice.
And how you see this in Europe? How is this in Europe? As a jury and curator, no, participating of many in festivals and calls, how you see this environment in Europe?
I would say, first of all, it's super nice. Now it's a nice time to work in this field of contemporary or experimental circus because a lot is going on and the scene is getting more and more support, not only from different governments, but also from theaters and festivals and so on. So I think it's a good time to work in this field now, even if there's a lot to do still, for sure. And I have the feeling that there are a lot of artists, especially young artists, who are thinking about dramaturgy in circus, in a sense of what can I say, what can I express with my art, like I said before, and going away from just showing my technique. And this is really, really interesting because I have the feeling that maybe it's not the first time, but for me it's the first time I witnessed it. The circus is trying to express something and to connect with all the discourses who are going on now. And yeah, there are artists who are dealing with climate crisis, refugee crisis, war, and all this stuff. So this is something I see now, and which I also try to support. And beyond, for sure, it's like there are great artists who are perfect in their technique, and they have the ability to go on now to make the next step and to rethink really their artwork, their technique. Yeah, and now they are coming up a lot of festivals, a lot of houses, theater houses are opening up for circus, which is very, very nice. And yeah, a good friend of mine, he said like he has the feeling that circus now is in his late 20s, looking very hard for his own identity. And I really like this phrase. And I'm really looking forward to the 30s.
Great. And thinking about this identity, how is this in Austria? Because talking already with some artists and researchers from Austria, we know already that is a very young field, no, for the contemporary circus expressions and productions. We know this is something new here. How you see this identity development in Austrian contemporary circus?
Yeah, we have this state funding since 2016. And now you can see that people can work in a more productive manner. So they have time and space and for sure money to work. So now we are we are seeing that the people can produce pieces, stage pieces, and they can tour. So the field is, or the scene is growing a little bit, and I think the quality is getting better, higher. And what we also seeing is that some Austrian artists are now getting seen in the European and international circus world, which is very, very important, I think, for the Austrian scene. And we also try to support this development. Yeah, and I have the feeling that there are a lot of Austrian artists who are experimenting now because they already had like 10 or 20 years of circus history. And now they are like making also the next step, which is quite nice to see and quite nice to support also, which we are also doing with the festival. And on the other hand, there are some festivals and some houses in Austria which are interested in showing contemporary circus, but it's still very hard to convince the theater landscape, let's say. But I think slowly we are getting better here. But yeah, if we take the example of France, for example, it took like 30 years now to open houses, so we have to be a little bit patient.
Yeah, you already told us in a different moments, or use the phrase trying to supporting, try to support these productions, and so I know that your work as a artistic director of the Creative Culture Association that is working since 2010, no? And also the production of the On the Age Festival, no? That, if I'm not wrong, is since 2019, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So you more or less already told us about this development, you know, and I can see these when I see, for example, the videos from the festivals in 2019, 2008, 2020, and 21, 22, and coming now for 23. How is this work of support? You know, of course, the festival is already a support to show and to produce and, you know, to give the artist space. But I think I was thinking if you could tell us a bit more about the Creative Culture initiative and also the festival, how these projects are supporting artists and projects.
Yeah, sure. Creative Culture, the association, was founded in, like you said, 2010 by Elena Kreusch, and then 2 years later I came in and we worked together, and we used and still are using the association as a platform for producing our own pieces or artworks or projects, and we did some, how to say in English, some commissioned work for the city of Vienna and some festivals and so on, some pieces, but also some festival and residency formats. And now the association Creative Culture is mainly working on our own festival, on the Edge Festival, which takes place every year in November in Vienna. Yeah, and we started in 2019 with a tryout because we didn't know if it would work, like having an experimental circus festival in Vienna, because it was something totally new. But turned out that it worked well, so we decided to go on and to create a festival format. So 2020 should have been the first edition, but then we had a lockdown. So 2020 was officially first edition, and now, yeah, we have 2023, and we are working on a quite huge edition in November, but we already working on the next edition, 2024.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and the nice thing is that we are getting a little bit more support now for the festival, and for sure the festival now has a name, so it took some years, you know, like to build this brand, let's say. And we always tried to support Austrian and international artists, and we are trying not only to show the best performances in the world, but also to give space to experimental tryouts, let's say. So we are always in search for artists who are willing to try something, and sometimes we invite people where we don't know if what is coming out, let's say. So the festival is a mixture of like fixed or performances who are touring already a lot, performances who are in development. So we have a residency format, this Circus research format, and we have some discourse formats. We have artist talks, and yeah. So we are trying to think festival in a wide sense. And now we have this edition in November. So feel welcome. Where we are showing 8 performances from different countries, 3 performances from Austria. We have a residency group, and we also have an evening with short films in cooperation with Arte.
Nice.
Yeah. So we are also trying to think circus not only in stage pieces, but also like what else can circus be, for example, movie works or site-specific works. So
It's clear to see the development of the festival and the work of the creative culture in these 10 years and all of the editions of the festival since 2019. And thinking about, of course, you already told about more support, different layers of the festivals, ways of, for example, short film and residency, different layers inside the festival. What changed from 2019 to 2023, or thinking about 24, about topics, about ideas of circles? Because you already talking about, the politic things or topics coming to the stage to be thinking, to be reflected with the audience. How is this center, let's say, inside the festival, and how this is growing or developing?
I think in 2019, when you told someone in Vienna that we are doing an experimental circus festival, they said something like, "What are you doing? What the red horses, the clowns, something?" And now it's like I said before, the festival has a name, so a lot of people from other fields, so people who are not working the artwork, know the festival. Which is very, very nice. So now you don't have to explain every time you meet a person what we are doing. And just yesterday, I told someone that every year we have some people who are coming to the festival who are leaving, sometimes earlier, or they are leaving with like, I wanted to see circus, like really circus, like acrobatics and like traditional circus.
I understand.
But these are only some people, and this is also for sure it's totally fine. But the majority of the audience, I think, is like this. After seeing the first experimental circus performances, they are like, okay, this could be circus. I haven't thought about it, but okay, it's interesting. I think I will come back. And last year, for example, we had a lot of festival visitors who came for the first weekend, and then they came back. So this is perfect for us. This is really nice. But for sure, we also the festival's name is On the Edge. We're trying to show performances which are really on the edge, and sometimes you can read them more as performance art or dance. Sometimes people are really also disappointed because they want to see circus. Yeah, but in general, I would say like we are doing some kind of audience development. I don't like this word so much, but I prefer to put it like we are growing together with the audience, because it's also for us a kind of a way of searching or rethinking circus new. So I prefer to say let's go this path together. Let's grow together.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, it's also like I think now we can be a little bit more courageous and to show performances which are sometimes really edgy and really like not that circus-y. But still I'm trying to create a festival where like everyone can take something. I mean, it doesn't have to be like family friendly because that's not our aim, but I think it's nice to create a festival which is experimental but accessible for different people.
With academic degree in philosophy and politics, how you see this meeting between circles and politic topics and philosophic topics?
Yeah. I'm really motivated to show political performances by artists who really have this urge to say something, which could be like a very own opinion or something they really need to say. For example, we had some work from female artists who are like who have been talking about all this discrimination and all the structures which have to be rethought and improved. But also, yeah, like really political performances. For example, we are trying to show performances by performers who are rethinking the role of the body, also female or male body, because we all knew that the circus body was always connected with a lot of stereotypes and images. So I think it's nice to show this other side, and there are a lot of artists who are working on these themes. Yeah, and on the other, this is very important. But I also have to say it's not so easy to find these performances. But like I said in the beginning, there are some artists, and I think there are more and more artists, especially young artists who are coming out of schools, of circus schools, who are dealing with all these crisis topics which we have now in our world, and they are not willing to separate all the political thinking and their art, so they are working on combine it, and we are trying to find them and to support them. Yeah.
Nice.
And besides of that, it's very like pragmatically we are trying to work with fair pay. We are trying to have a nice communication with the artist. So it's not only like the work on stage, but we also trying to have and give a good structure of the festival.
Until now we were talking about European environment. Do you have some communication with another continent like South America production, African production, or Asiatic production? How is this communication with these in different places?
Actually, I have to say I'm not so much connected right now with. I mean, in Europe, yes, because there are lots going on, and we're also working at Circus and the European organization, and we are traveling a lot. I'm a little bit connected to South America because I used to live in Bolivia 2 years, where I mainly did theater. But I know the circus scene a little bit, also in Argentina. Yeah, but I don't have to tell you the structure is very different. For example, in Bolivia, there are not theater houses like this who are supporting circus. They show theater, and there's no funding at all. No, I mean, I think in Argentina there is a little bit. In Bolivia, you really have to create performances where people come, so you can live on the entrance fee. So it's a totally different world. And I only knew and know very few artists in Bolivia, for example, who are only living on their artistic career. They have a bread job, like we say in Germany. But yeah, it would be nice to be more connected. I know in Japan there's also a lot going on in the juggling scene, for example. Yeah, maybe sometime.
Yeah. So taking this opportunity to invite everyone that is following this channel or in this interview to see some of the videos of this research, because I was already one of the goals of this research is to make this bridge, between European productions and South America productions, just through thinking and talking, or maybe connection between producers that is also possible. So we have an interview, for example, with Maria Carolina, that is PhD in Circus in Brazil, and she was talking at the currently Brazilian contemporary circus environment through the programs of the main festivals in Brazil. Also with Noel Rosas talking about Uruguayan contemporary art circles. Yeah, productions of 20 years of Festival Mundial de Circo, World Festival Circus in Belo Horizonte. So this development during 20 years of festival, I was talking with the production and producer of the festival. And yes, we have some of these interviews, and I'm talking this mainly because maybe someone is following this interview but didn't see the others. So I invite you, everyone, to also to visit these, and I can send you, and already did the research. Nice. Until now, we were talking about these big topics and this big field of circus productions, entering specifically in your own production as an artist. How you see all of it or how you deal with all of this in your own production, artistic production? For example, okay, I will put simple. For example, now you were also selected in this program, from the Bundesministerium to have research and development of circus production to your own artistic development or research. Could you tell us, for example, about this project specifically?
Yeah, sure. I applied with 2 projects, actually. One was a creation or beginning of a creation, let's say, a research with 2 partner acrobatics. And I wanted to show all the steps which are needed to develop a trick, but not show the. So we have been in the studio for 2 weeks, and we took a lot of material they already had and divided it and separated it, deconstructed it. And so I worked a lot with loops and repetition, but let's say, and trying to show all the details you need in the body and the choreography, which are very, very necessary to do the trick, but then not doing the trick. So sometimes also doing the trick, but I was interested in not showing the trick. That was the first research. And the second one was an idea which I developed now. It was based on a performance I already did, where I also told the story of Eisenman, who was a tightrope walker in Vienna, 1949, after the Second World War. So he was an artist, and there haven't been circuses, or they have been closed or destroyed. So he needed money, and he decided to walk over the Danube canal in Vienna. And I wanted to tell the story in a more profound way. And so I started to write actually this piece, and I invited Aurelia Eidenberger, who is a slack rope artist, and 2 directors from the theater field. And now we are doing this performance as an self-produced production in the festival, and we are opening the festival this year with this production about Eisenman. Yeah.
Nice, cool.
It was also the idea of like combining theater and circus art, and to experiment a little bit. We are also working a lot with video work and music, so it will be a big mixture. Yeah, and besides, I'm not so much on stage anymore. I did two stage pieces, or one was this performance where I deconstructed my own juggling clubs and talked about my own circus history. The second one, which was a follow-up project, was a combination of an installation with all these clubs and old circus props, and a performance last year in October. And now I'm more interested in working as a director and dramaturg. I'm also working on video now. There are coming up some exhibitions with video work. It's also about circus, which is interesting, because I wanted to stop, but now I'm doing some work talking and reflecting about circus, but not doing circus.
It's interesting to see all of this environment. Just sharing a bit of this research, something that I can observe already. In South America, we have many constantly in shoes of problems, political problems, social. This is constant for us, and I see these politic topics quite often on the stage. And when I see the contemporary circles there, we are always looking, or as a general overview, we are constantly looking to the traditional circles and thinking about how we can put this in another way, or a contemporary or experimental way on the stage. And when I see your work and Sebastian's work, Sebastian Beer work, and also Sabine Meyer work, and all the works that I could see from Austria, I see that my feeling is like you are looking more to the visual arts and fields that are out of the circles, let's say properly. And this gives, for me, an identity from this production that is going on now at this moment. Of course, this is not a theory or thesis, or it's just my feeling. It's just sharing a little bit with you. And it's very nice. It's beautiful for you and inspiring me to work also. Thank you so much. So we had already our standard questions from the interview. That is the idea of contemporary circles, the contemporary circles, experimental circles in Europe, in Austria, and how this is working, and your personal work also. So we had already, but I open the space a little bit more if you want to open another topic that you would like to talk, or to give your last words to this interview.
Thank you. What could we talk about? I don't know at the moment.
Just if you want, feel free.
Yeah, no, actually, I don't know. I think I'm fine.
Great. Me too. I'm very happy to talk with you, to connect. I'm very curious to see the festival, to be with you in person soon in November. I will be there for sure. And I think is a very important and inspiring festival to think about circles and experimental circles in this moment, that not just thinking about Austrian production, but European production, and what are you doing and thinking in front of all of this environment. I think is very rich. I will be there for sure, and also invite you to be in September in our premiere, the premiere of this, not a premiere, but sharing the results of this project in September. And also invite everyone that is following this interview with enough time to be there. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you for having me. All the best.
So, and for you that are following us until here in this interview, I invite you to discover a little bit more of South America Circus environment in our channel with different artists, researchers, and producers of this field in Brazil and Uruguay, and this environment of circles there. And also to invite you to keep following this channel in these interviews, because we will have more 2 interviews with different Austrian artists in this research. So keep connected. See you next time.